Welcome, I'm Barry Allaway, and I'm going to talk to you all about lead generation and a new approach. Firstly though, delighted to have been invited by the Rocket Marketing Hub team to give this short presentation. So without further ado, let's get on and cracking and share some great information with you. So as I mentioned, this webinar is all around lead generation, also to share with you a new approach, something you can swipe and deploy in your business. As we go through this webinar and these slides, what I would like you to think about, and we'll recap it at the end, is the 4 or 5 nuggets that you can take from this and implement in your own business. We'll share with you lots of ideas and tips and techniques, but you've just got to pick the 4 or 5 that you can make happen, because making a long list of things to do and never doing it is not the way to great success. So let's just help you pick out a few things that you can implement to get started. So what is this success formula? Well, really the key place to start is it's all about building a database. Your database is your biggest asset, but you need to build the foundations right. You need to build it in the right way and make it fit for purpose for the long term. I'm not going to go into massive details about different CRM systems and databases and all of that in this particular webinar. That's for another time. But what you do need to do is, even if you've only got an Excel spreadsheet to start with names and addresses on, you do need a database. You do need ways in which you can segment it and you can then interact with your list in many different ways. So that's the foundation. It's a bit like being an architect. If you want to build a massive business, a massive skyscraper of a successful business, then it's no good having the foundation set for a 1-bedroom bungalow. You need to sort of get that foundation set right with the way that you think and nurture your database and how you build it and set it up. So that's the first nugget, really, is think about what sort of size of business you want, what are the key attributes that will benefit your business through your database, and make sure the database that you utilize has got flexibility to scale and grow, and build in other ways of segmenting it as you go. So a little bit about me first. I'm Barry Allaway. My main business and day job really is the Group MD of WWMD, Worldwide Magazine Distribution. We're the UK's leading supplier of magazine products into niche and specialist retailers, and we also export to 40 countries globally. Within WWMD, we've got 4 main divisions, 3 around the supply and sale of magazine product into niches, and also we have a fulfillment and logistics arm. Within that, we've got 5,000 customers and over 20,000 prospects currently going through my various sales and marketing campaigns to bring them into our business as customers of the future. However, some of those customers will never become magazine customers, so what we've also developed is a range of tools and solutions that enable us to offer out to them different products and services. So on the right hand side of this slide, you can see we've got a range of toolkits. These are things I've personally developed. So we've got how to write a book and customer pipeline for a lifetime and 90-day goal getting masterclasses. But likewise, we also have a retail toolkit, and the retail toolkit is a 12-module project whereby we share with retailers how to get and keep customers. And the reason I'm just sharing this with you now is obviously to give you a bit of background in terms of the heritage and where I come from with my 30+ years experience in and around publishing and running major businesses, but also the stuff we're going to be sharing with you now is exactly the same information that we implement and run in our own business, and also share with our customers through the way that we communicate with them and the tools that we give them, but also with things like the retail toolkit. So all of this stuff, it's not theory at all here, it's all live, real live stuff. So what is this magic success formula we're going to talk about? Well, we're looking really going to be talking about sales funnels or marketing funnels, but really it splits out into 4 core areas. Really, it's around the marketing pillars, how you attract people in. It's then how you take them through the journey, through your sales funnel and those stages and steps that you take them through, but also building know, like, trust and nurturing them on the side. And we'll share with you some great tips and tools as we go through. Some of this you may already know. If you do, that's great. My question then to you is, are you doing it all? If not, find the 3 or 4 or 5 things that you can do to take that step ahead. If you're not doing it all, this hopefully gives you a great overview and also some places to go and look and find further information. And right at the end, I'm going to share with you one of our best performing sales funnel at present. And what's really great is the team behind this sales funnel, the tool that we use to deliver it, have actually got an offer for you, because they're keen to help more businesses succeed using this tool as well. So I spoke to them. They've given me something for you there, which I'll just share with you at the end. But in no way is this a sales pitch or anything like that. We're here to give you great value. If you want to utilise it at the end, that's great. If not, that's fine too. So let's talk about 2 types of sales funnel. There are various types of sales funnels out there if you look at it, but I'll just share with you 2 today so as we don't get too bogged down. And the key thing here is to look at a traditional and then the new model. Apologies for the lack of fancy slides. We could have got this obviously done as an infographic, but I thought the best thing is to get it out to you and share with you through the Rocket Hub team as quickly as possible rather than spend loads of time on design. But anyway, this is a traditional sales funnel. It basically has a 4-stage process. This is one that Dan Kennedy of GKIC talks about a lot, and he talks about his herd, and it's how he sort of like has a ranch of cattle, his words, not mine, but what he looks at doing is having a big field of suspects. So you have a huge field of suspects, and then what you then do is nurture and coerce that field of suspects, and some of them then start showing more interest in your products and services, and as such they escalate, probably the better word, up to out of the herd field into the prospect field. And when they start showing more interest, you can start sending them more stuff. You can start making them offers and really start nurturing those prospects and spending them a little bit more time and value in investing time and money on those than you would the main herd. Once you've got them in your prospect field, what you then obviously do is spend a lot of time trying to nurture them up and actually get them to become a customer. And I'm going to share with you some hints and tips in a short while about how you can make that first stage, because it's best to make a baby step rather than to get them straight in buying your Ferrari. And then once you've got them into your customer field, what you then do is some of those customers will become raving fans, or as Dan Kennedy calls them, HVCs, which is high value customers. And an interesting thing here, it roughly works if you get enough people going through your funnels, that by the time you get up to your customer to your high value customer ratio normally fits the 80-20 rule. So for every 100 customers that you get in, you're going to get about 20% of them, 25% of them who are maximum going to become high value customers, depending on your offer and products and services that you're supplying. Down the bottom end of this funnel, the suspects to prospects journey, and then the percentage of those that then become customers. You could say, well, the 80-20 rule applies. I would argue that actually the rule that applies is really how good you are at and getting the suspects into your field and the relevance of the information that you've given them to get them into your field. So if your lead bait, so we'll talk about that a little bit later as well, if your lead bait is really relevant to your suspects and ties really tightly in to what you're offering as a full product and service, then your ratio of turning suspects into prospects and prospects into customers will be much higher. If you give them a free £5 note and then try and sell them a language course on Mandarin, the reality is your ratios are going to be much lower at that bottom end, because you've just you've given them a fiver. That's why they're in your list. It's not because they want to learn Mandarin. So really that first lead magnet stage is vitally important. The new model, this is a model that's used by an organisation called BGS, Business Growth Systems. I think it's a good way of describing a model, and it is actually a model very similar to the one we use in our own business. It's just I haven't got a need to market it, and hence we don't give it a name. So I thought I'd share this one with you. And this one, again, is more the 80-20 rule applies at the top end, but what these guys do is build in some additional elements in their journey, and this is what they call the 5 Cs. They run events in London if you're ever interested in finding out more about them. They're called Business Growth Systems. They're based in Henley and Arden in Warwickshire. But their 5 Cs take the journey from the crowd, so similar to Dan Kennedy's herd, you have to attract a crowd. What you then do though is you get that crowd and you make them an offer, and that offer is usually in the main of a free report or a checklist or a cheat sheet or a PDF or an ebook or a physical book that you give them, or whatever that may be, but you capture their data. Once you've captured their data, you then convert them into a sale, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in a couple of seconds when I share with you something from an American guy called Ryan Dice. But what you want to do at this point, and particularly what's very successful about this model, is you don't make your big sale at this point. You basically get to a point whereby you splinter out or give them a mini cut down version of your core offer. And what that's about is it basically gives them a teaser, a taster of your product and service. It gets them to a buying point where they can make a small investment rather than a large risky assessment to check you out. And it also enables you to actually get some better engagement. If you do it in the right way as well, depending on what your product and service is, it also proves that they've got the ability and the mindset to actually get a credit card out or pick up the phone or do whatever they need to do to buy that thing from you. Because there are a load of wannabes out there, there are a load of freebie hunters, and they are never going to make your good cash customers and your continuity customers. On this 5Cs journey, once you've made that initial little sale, and in the Ryan Dice model that's called a tripwire, but I'll explain more about that in a moment, you then work them through your nurturing process to become a full customer, where they take your main product or service, and that's really where the cash bit comes in. Excuse me. The next area is where in Dan Kennedy's model they become high value customers. In this model here, what you're then trying to do is you actually try and build in a continuity plan in some way. So it may be they join your monthly membership program, or they come on regular trainings with you, but the idea there is that they become a recurring customer for you in some way, shape or form. If you can physically automate that through a membership program, a monthly fee, etc. If you're a consultant, a retainer-based business, that's ideal. Because obviously, if it's a matter of you need to keep getting them coming back into your retail outlet, for example, to keep buying stuff, then that continuity does need more effort and work to keep them coming back. But hopefully that is of interest to you and a model that you can follow. So, Ryan Dice and his napkin projects. What Ryan does is he and it's worth looking out some of his stuff. He runs he's got a monthly membership program called the Digital Marketing Lab, and it's not expensive, and it's worth having a quick look at some of his products. But his napkin project is a great place to start because it really shares with you the concept of the 5Cs, but in practice. But before we do that, let's just think about why we're trying to nurture and why we're trying to build know, like and trust, and why we actually need automated email sequences, direct mail campaigns, and a host of other marketing going on. You see, these days, and this is charts a couple of years ago old now, but most salespeople give up after making the first, second, third, or fourth call or contact with a prospect. However, and that's the little bar on the left-hand side. However, buying decisions are now made by people on the 5th, 6th, 7th touch point. People are much more inclined to hunt around. They're much more fickle about where they buy from. So really what this chart's saying is that you need to nurture to develop long-term relationships, because buying cycles, life cycles, lifetime values are becoming much harder to get. And most people particularly in the UK and in the States, most people give up too soon, which actually is great news for us, because those of us who are still chipping away at touch point 7, 8, 9, 10 and 30 and 40 or whatever it may be in your funnel, we're picking up that extra business, because all the double glazing salesmen and one hit wonder guys and girls, they've disappeared. They've gone, they've given up, they're chasing the next new bright shiny object, and we're still in there plugging away and picking up that business. So hopefully that gives you a flavour of why we're doing what we do. And this next slide, I'll walk you through. I'm going to use my pointer, but I don't normally like doing that on the slides. But what this is Ryan Dicey's napkin project, and what Ryan does is he talks about offering a lead magnet, and I'll talk about lead magnets a little bit now, and as we go through this funnel. But at the top point here, you have a range of marketing pillars that bring people in here, and I'll talk about marketing pillars on a separate slide. But what you do is you're running a range of marketing activity up here that drops people in. You're making offers, etc., that drop them in to your lead magnet. And what your lead magnet is, this is where people sign up for your free book, your free webinar, your little DVD series, whatever it may be, your cheat sheet, etc. And what you've got them then is you've got them in your funnel. They've entered your Aweber, your MailChimp, in our case it's Infusionsoft, they've entered that system. At that same point in time, Ryan automatically drops them into his bucket, whereby he runs a 52-week nurture campaign, and things like your newsletters and your sales offers and stuff like that you trigger out of that bucket. And this whole piece here is all about adding value, drip fed week by week by week by week, keeping you top of mind. So that sort of gets your continuity bit going and trying to keep this customer warm with you. At that point, after they've bought the lead magnet, on his thank you page, he automatically then offers them a tripwire. Now this tripwire is actually his first little bit to try and get them to become a customer. He'll offer a portion of one of his main products for $7, or he'll offer a deal on a product which is in a low price point. And when tripwires traditionally are in the £5 to £50 mark, you see much more of them in and around the sort of like $9.99, $19.99, $20.99 mark, in terms of sterling, and dollar rates the same. And hopefully if they buy the tripwire, in the thank you page for the tripwire, he also offers his core product, and his core product here is his digital marketing lab. This is his monthly marketing program. And then when people buy that, he then automatically starts upselling them and cross-selling them off of all of his other products and services, and either tries to sell them bundle deals, or he's got about 5 different products, he sells them the full package. Now obviously very few people go all the way through that sequence without just clicking yes buy, yes buy, yes buy, but sequentially people in his system can do that. However, what most people do is they take the lead magnet and then they get offered a tripwire, and they might buy that and then they're into the core offering, that's great, or they may not. So if they don't buy the tripwire, he then has a series of emails running that actually re-offers them the tripwire. It may be the same tripwire they've already been offered, but just positioned in a different way, or it could be a different tripwire. But the reality is he keeps offering them tripwires because he wants to get them to go through this whole funnel so that they get the full know, like, trust experience with him. At the same time, he's also putting out emails and offers around his core offering. Likewise, for those people who've bought the tripwire but not bought the core offering, he then also, for those guys and girls, runs an escalation series, and that escalation series is trying to showcase his higher value services. He's trying to get them to buy his core offer product, but also he wants them to do that because he also wants to get them into his profit maximizers. And his profit maximizers, as I mentioned, were the individual full toolkits, but also events. Ryan runs an event once a year, the Traffic and Conversion Summit in San Diego in America. Over 3,000 people go to that. It's about $500 a ticket. It's a 3-day event, and he'll be selling other stuff at that show and event, and he'll have other speakers there who are selling bits as well, who he'll take some proportion of the deal off them and all sorts of stuff. So that's where his big money item is here. So hopefully that makes sense. He's trying to take them through a freebie lead magnet into a nurture campaign so he can offer them, sell them stuff and keep them warm, but at the same time he's offering them small little products splintered off of his main product, so there's relevance to what he's offering through tripwires. He's then trying to get them into his digital marketing lab as his core offering, where he can then upsell and cross-sell his profit maximizers, which are his main products and his events. And he does that through a series of side movement emails, and I don't think he uses direct mail, but he's using Facebook and other bits as well that's driving all this activity. Hope that makes sense. Hopefully I haven't lost you on that one, but do keep coming back to this part of the webinar if you want to re-engage with this bit and see how you're doing against this as a funnel, because it is a useful way to look at it. And actually maybe draw this out on a blank sheet of paper for each product and service in your business, because every business can have a number of these napkins for each of their individual offerings. So, going back a stage, how do we get people into the funnel? Well, it's all about the different marketing pillars, and the reason I've seen this, there are numerous marketing pillars. In the last count, I saw somebody had listed 80 of them. I'm not going to go through all 80 now, but the key is, why has the Parthenon in Athens stood the test of time and many earthquakes, etc.? It's because it's got numerous columns holding up the roof, and you need numerous marketing pillars, numerous marketing columns holding up your business. Because if today Facebook is the best performing lead driver into your sales funnel, Facebook change their rules every other day because they just want to get more money out of you. And if your Facebook marketing success dries up tomorrow, where is your new business generation coming from the next day? So the key thing is to have a number of different marketing pillars operating at any one time. Keep tweaking them and fine-tuning them so that you've got stuff that's really working well, you've got stuff is not working so well, which you can test and tweak other things, and you've got upcoming activities in terms of driving that lead generation for you. And these are the key marketing pillars we use in my magazine wholesale business. We have customer and prospect newsletters, social media, we do face-to-face meetings, trade shows, we've got PR running, we've run blogs, we've got a telesales team, which is vitally important. It's all in the follow-up. We have major success by picking up the phone and talking to people. It's an art form many have forgotten to use. Excuse me, but invest. One of the first things you do in your business is find a way of investing in telesales and getting people on the phone, because it generally will bring results for you. We do obviously SEO, PPC, so pay-per-click advertising for our businesses. Facebook isn't our main driver, actually. We have more success out of targeted LinkedIn activity and Google AdWords than we do on pay-per-click. But our best performing piece at the moment is direct mail, and I'm going to share a little bit with you in a moment. We also have testimonials and merchandising, and we obviously got various websites. And our websites, I'm sure this will be covered in another Rocket Hub's webinar at some point. It's not just about having a website. We've got multiple, I'm over 100 now, different landing and squeeze pages that we send people to for different offers and different specific things we are trying to do and encourage them into our sales funnels through. Landing people on your big shiny corporate looking website, you might get a few people opt in for your newsletter, but the reality is that's not where it's at now. You have to bring people in to really relevant squeeze and landing pages. So I promised to share with you our best performing sales funnel, and our best performing sales funnel is actually this. It's our scratch card, and what we do, the one at the top is the retail lottery. That's the one we run with in the main. I've also got a logistics lottery and other bits and pieces. But what this piece of lead bait does is at trade shows we give this out. People can't resist the opportunity to scratch and see if they've won. I've got various versions of it, but the reality is they all win, even if they win the runners-up prize. And the runners-up prize is an e-book or a physical book or an audio book or a free report on our business, and why magazines, for example, are the best thing since sliced bread for retailers, because of the way they generate footfall. It's got fresh new content every week, every month. It increases basket spend because magazine readers are generally more affluent and impulse buy more. But this isn't a party political broadcast of the magazine industry, but what this does show you is that actually people do like an offer. And if you get the offer right to the relevance in terms of what you're offering, it can be a real winner for you. This scratch card gets us over 12% opt-in off direct mail. Now, if you think direct mail these days, the average direct mail piece that's landing on your doormat will deliver in the region of 0.75 to 1% return, to get 12% is phenomenal. How we do that is quite smart. We go to a lot of trade shows, as I mentioned, to give out these scratch cards. I don't track that in that number. What I do track, though, is whenever we do trade shows and also other times of the year, we generally send out a couple of hundred of these scratch cards with a letter every week. And what that scratch card and letter says, it basically says, I've just been at a trade show. It was in X town. X town is normally a long distance from the area I'm sending these letters to. So, for example, I've just been to a trade show in Exeter. However, I'm aware that Exeter is a long way from your retail outlet in, let's say, Newcastle. And because of that, you're unlikely to attend. However, when I got back from the trade show, where we had great success with XYZ, whatever the relevant element is, I had 100 of these left. I didn't want to throw them in the bin, so we thought we'd send them out to some like-minded retailers for our catchment area who wouldn't be able to have made the trade show, or words to that effect. And by doing that, we're getting 12% opt-in, which, as I mentioned, is phenomenal. It has a great hook, lure excitement of winning, see what they've won. It's got great engagement, because as soon as they scratch and enter their details into the website to get their prize or see what they've won, what we're also able to do at that point is drop them straight into our 52-week nurture and all those sorts of ongoing activities. It works across B2B, B2C and restaurants and bars, etc. Talking to the guys who've developed this solution, let's take restaurants for example. When's the last time your Chinese or Indian restaurant asked you for your name, address, etc. details? Well, with this sort of concept, they can. Because what they can do is they can give a scratch card, somebody at the table scratch it, they win a Poppadom or a bottle of Coke next visit. But to get that, they have to put their name, address, and potentially, birth date and wedding anniversary maybe on the back, whatever data capture that restaurant or venue is looking for. So that data capture goes back to where we very first started, in around the information that you capture, the way that you develop your database, and the way that you can then engage with your database is vitally important. Because as you go through your funnel, where you've got lead bait offers and tripwire offers and core product offers and profit maximizers as an example, the more you know about your customers, the better engagement you're going to get with them, and the more relevant offers you're going to be able to make of your products and services. And if you're in a market that really doesn't do this very well at present, and I'll use retail as an example again, retailers are at two ends of the spectrum. You've got Tesco's, who are absolutely excellent at this with their club card. Sainsbury's a little bit there with their nectar points, etc. Most others nowhere near the game, absolutely out the game totally. And you need to think about where your market is and how you could use a tool or tools to data capture better. That then gives us great systems. We use Infusionsoft to automate this process from end to end, and the important bit, as I mentioned earlier, is around how you telesales to make sure those that are hot to trot, you get to them quickly before they go lukewarm and cold. And the other good thing we've been using recently is actually when we're sending emails, video works very well as well. So we've been sending quite a few of our direct mail pieces and email sequences, we follow up with some video emails, and those videos actually basically just replay the same messages that were in the emails, because for those of you who understand NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Practice, then people consume information in different ways. You know, some people like to read, some people like to hear it, some people like to see it. So if you can deliver your lead baits and your nurtures and your communication with your customers in different ways, that's vitally important, because you'll find different people's communication styles are very different to your own. So do look at testing different ways of communicating with your customers as well. And then, as I mentioned, follow-up sequences are very, very important, particularly offers in and around B2C and restaurant hospitality environments. So now it's hopefully you found that very useful. I know it's been a bit of a whistle-stop tour through sales funnels and marketing pillars, etc. But now it's time really for you to sit back, maybe draw out that napkin, think about where are your marketing pillars. Are you driving enough activity to attract people into your funnels? Are you testing enough? You know, if your best lead bait, if got run over by a bus tomorrow, could you survive? Have you got other things that can take its place? You know, how are your sales funnels working? What are your lead times from people coming initially into your funnel to when they actually make a sale? Because you need to know your stages of your journey, and can you speed that up? You know, how are you building your know, like, trust and nurturing relationships through emails and other communication tools? You know, what's your best performing sales funnel, and how can you replicate it and scale it to grow your business? So thank you for your time. As I mentioned, excuse me, as I mentioned, the guys who delivered the lottery scratch card concept for us, they've basically said their normal offer price for setting up a system like that is just $497. At the moment, they've got an offer on for Rocket Hub members at $197. If you're interested in that, that's the website address, www.yourbusinesslottery.co.uk. If it's not for you, that's fine too, but do check your sales funnels, do check your lead magnets, do make sure you've got a tripwire offer in there. What's your core offering? What are your profit maximizers? How do you get continuity into your list? Because that's where the money is, and it's all in the follow-up. So have a great day, and hopefully you found 3 or 4 or even 5 nuggets within that last 35 minute session that you can implement in your business. Have a great day.